Here's a little update on the truck. So let's say I haven't done much with this. So I'm gonna make a bracket back there. You can probably see. I can't even get in there. But anyway, that bracket's done. Just needs the one bracket. It's still loose. I still got to cap off this piece of the airbox. You can probably see down in there. This is the lower tray to the airbox. And then come around here. Here's the fresh air tube. It comes through the lower tray into the bottom of the airbox. Goes into the factory square body air cleaner piece. That's this thing right here. That's the fresh air. I still got to fill this hole here. I had to extend this light because the signal lights are in the grill in this, and they're right there. So we put the signal lights, we switched sides and put them on top. So the signal lights will be on top of the grill instead of down there. No big deal. Still got some radiator work to do. I still got to adapt this hose over here. It's too big for that. Got to get an adapter for that. You can see the transmission cooler lines are in. The one air conditioning line is fitted. Goes right there. That's the 2003 Chevy radiator right here. I mean condenser. I just don't want to pop the caps off yet because it's all vacuum sealed. Same thing at the bottom. All the hoses are on there. Hoses are over to there. That wiring doesn't need to be dealt with yet. It's just for the mass airflow in the coolant tank. Let's see. I still got to do the shroud. And you can see it's pretty tight in here for the low radiator hose, but it fits. There's the transmission cooler, and you can see the lower mount for the condenser. The transmission cooler is also out of the 2003. And I hooked up the power steering today. So there's the power steering cooler, which is also out of the 2003. I just cut the ends off and tweaked them a little bit to where I wanted them. So now the power steering's hooked up. See the one line there. Still got to make a bracket also for charcoal canister. A couple hose clamps I need. I'm putting the steam vent here in the upper hose. Wiring is still disgusting looking. You can see inside the box here. Actually, here's the fuel pump wire. And I got a couple relays I got to wire in for that. I got to deal with all that dual tank stuff. It's not neat looking right now, but it's actually more organized than it looks. And then we go into the truck. I got to get a bulb for the four-wheel drive light for the dash. And you can see here, this is the wire coming in for, well, all the wires. These go to the OBD2 port. You can see they branch off here. this out of the way because you can see it's in the stock mount of the square body. And the other wires in there are the ones that come around here on the column to the brake light switch for the torque converter lockup. You can see service engine light works now. I did put my scanner on it. It does. Computer's not broke. You know, nothing done with the computer yet. So I just wanted to see if the scanner actually had power and stuff. So the power's down there where it's supposed to be. Let's see what else we got going on. We got. I did some exhaust work. As you can see, I made up the Y pipe. There's one side, and you can see the other side. These manifolds have the flanges in there that the pipe just seats over. There's no gaskets. I gotta clean up this wiring. We're not using the rear O2s, but the fronts are hooked up. I also have to lengthen this rod. I have two rods. I cut the other piece, but I gotta tweak it a little bit to fit and weld it together. And there's this side. I did shape the pipe a little around the rod. I don't want to get it any closer to the frame or any closer to the floors. I'm trying to, or near the spring bushings. I mean, I got room. I don't want it too close because of the heat. This one I ran through the underneath the cross member. It's got plenty of room. And it splits off over here, goes to the cat. I will be eventually putting exhaust on here, but for now, I'm just hooking it back the way it was to the square body exhaust. So there's the original cat. It's going in a different position. I still have to run fuel lines from one side to the other. The fuel lines come out of this valve, cross over the cross member, and go to the front of the truck, well, where they meet the lines. And I still got to connect these two to the valve. So I have to cut those ends off there. And I had to move the valve a little bit. I'm still not done with that. You could, I don't know if you can see it here. But there's a hole in the frame right there. It's a bolt hole. I had to move it one bolt hole ahead because no matter what I did, I could not get these lines from the passenger tank to not be kinked right here. No matter how I did, they would kink. Because originally they're pre-bent line. So I just moved it ahead a little bit. I got to drill the frame still for that bolt. Here's the original fuel tank pump wire. We got to figure that wiring out still, because I'm still going to be using that valve. And what we got here, this is fuel gauge wire for this side. And these are the ones running to the pump. Nothing's in a casing right now. This side, same thing, it's in a casing. Well, you can see it got melted at one time. What I did is I ran get over here. So this is the pump wire and gauge wire for this side. So this one here is the gauge. This one's the pump. It's 12 gauge. And this, I added a third, I added a ground. So they still ground to the frame, but each one goes from the frame into a connector to the other tank and back to the battery. So they're actually constant wire. I think that's about it for the moment. Got to hopefully get this other tank up here this weekend and get these fuel lines ran. And then I can deal with the computer stuff. Finish running the relays to the pump and get the bats disconnected. I'd like to hear this thing running in a week or so. And you can see here I had to cut this box up a little too. So I got to kind of plastic weld that back together. I did everything I could do to get this part of the box to be as low as possible. It's as close as I can get it. I can't get it any lower because it'd be pretty much against the hose or in the shroud. But there we go. That's where we're at with now. I still got to figure out the high pressure line too for the AC. That's a 1/2 inch tube. And the 2003 had 1/2 inch. And the square body had 3/8. It went to that 1/2 inch as a connector. So I got to figure out some way I'm going to connect those still. I think that's about it for the moment.